All right, welcome SFRT investors. In this training, we're going to break down the proprietary investment system our broker, James Smith, built from the ground up just for you. This is a proven local strategy, and it's really designed to help you build your real estate portfolio with absolute clarity and discipline. So let's get right into it. So let's start with the million-dollar question. What's the number one reason so many investors fail? It's not because they lack motivation or effort. It's almost always because they start with a deal that's way too complex or risky for where they are right now. And more importantly, they let their emotions drive the decision. And that really brings us to the core principle of James Smith's entire system. This is the mantra that you have to live by. Buy math, not emotion. See, a good deal isn't about falling in love with a pretty house. It's about finding a property where the numbers work, even when life, inevitably throws you a curveball. First things first, let's break down the single biggest and most expensive mistake we see investors make, and exactly how our system is designed to help you completely avoid it. This right here gets at a classic emotional mistake, over-improving a property. We have a name for this. It's called the neighborhood support rule. Here's the deal. The market, not your personal taste, sets the price ceiling. If you add high-end upgrades that the local buyers just won't pay for, you're essentially just donating that money to the next owner. So here's a simple analogy to keep in your back pocket. Don't put a stallion in a pigsty. Think about that. You are not building a mansion on a block of bungalows. Your goal is simply to make the house the best version of what that neighborhood already rewards. Clean, modern, and perfectly aligned with what local buyers expect. So what's the antidote to all this? Well, it's our Stair-Step system. This is what replaces that emotional guesswork with a clear, logical progression for your entire career as an investor. And we call it the Stair-Step system for a pretty obvious reason. You start on the first step and you master it before you even think about moving up. This framework lets you gradually increase the complexity of your projects as your experience, your team, and super important, your financial reserves grow. It just makes sure your skills and your capital are always climbing together step by step. So let's look at what this actually means in practice. By starting with a totally manageable Phase 1 project, we're talking paint, fixtures, carpet, you get to learn the core skills. Things like estimating, coordinating with vendors, basic budgeting, and you do it all with very limited surprises. This is how you build the confidence and the operational muscle you need to eventually tackle a Phase 5 full gut renovation, which, believe me, requires a proven team and deep reserves. You have to earn the right to take on more risk. All right, let's shift gears from the what to the how. We're going to dive into the specific tools and filters our team uses every single day to find and analyze opportunities right here in the Houston market. Look, we don't just sit around and hope for good deals to fall into our laps. We hunt for them systematically. We use the Houston Association of Realtors MLS, that's HAR, and we apply these really specific filters to find properties where the data is practically screaming seller motivation or a pricing advantage. We're looking for signals hidden in the data. Okay. And this really requires a huge mindset shift. You are not a home buyer looking for a perfect move-in ready house. As an investor using our system, you're an opportunity hunter. What you're actually searching for is a discount, combined with solvable problems. That gap right there, that's where you create value. Now, to take emotion completely out of that first look, we use the SFRT Deal Scorecard. This is our proprietary tool, and it translates all that property data into a clear, objective score. It totally replaces that fuzzy, I like this house feeling with a simple, data-driven answer. Is this a tour now, something we should monitor, or is it a hard pass? Finding a great deal is only half the battle, and frankly, it might even be the easier half. The other half, where your profit is truly protected, is in the execution of the rehab. And in this phase, discipline is absolutely everything. Now, this rehab sequence, it's not a suggestion, it's not a preference, it is the core strategy. Following this exact order is how pros reduce damage to new finishes, prevent super expensive rework, and keep the whole project on schedule and on budget. If you remember literally nothing else from this section, please remember this: paint, then floors, then baseboards. This incredibly simple discipline protects your brand new floors from paint splatters and ladders, it gives your crews clean edges to work with, and it will save you thousands in potential delays and repairs. Trust me on this one. Remember, the goal is always the highest net outcome, not just the lowest initial cost. And speed. Speed is profit. Your biggest gains are going to come from buying right and controlling your timeline. Trying to save a few $100 by nickel and diming your agent or your contractor almost always costs you thousands in the long run from delays or shoddy work. So, the final goal here isn't just to get one deal done, it's to build a repeatable machine, a system that generates momentum and wealth over your entire investment career. Your journey as an investor is a progression. You move from that single, hyper-focused first deal to building your reps and your cash reserves. Then, and only then, you learn to manage a pipeline of multiple projects. You only graduate to the next level when your systems and your capital can fully support it. Now, the absolute key to scaling safely, it's something we call exit flexibility. For every single deal you look at, you have to ask yourself this question. If the market shifts and I have to rent this property tomorrow, would the math still work? Having a plan B isn't a sign of weakness, it's what pros do. It's a risk control strategy that can turn a potential disaster into just a manageable pivot. The great news is, you don't have to figure all this out on your own. The fastest path to success is always working with a proven system and a team that has deep local expertise. Here at Smith Family Realty Texas, we provide that exact framework to help you build your plan, starting with your very first deal. So, you have the map now. You have James Smith's proven system. You understand the path that takes you from a simple cosmetic lift all the way to a full-scale operation. The only question left is, what will your first stair step be?